is John Gunther with the North Carolina Hub Office. And during our last Hub Goods and Services uh, reporting training, we were asked to provide a little bit more detail about how to enter in data into eVP for the goods and services reports from the quarterly basis. And we were asked to go from login through hitting approve. So that's what we're going to try to do today. Part of this is going to be a little bit different because the visuals that agencies have when they log in is a little bit different than what we see. So where those differences lie, I'll try to mention that. So when we are logging in, we go to the eVP login, and there is a link that's used. It's listed right up there, and now it changed because it's logging in. I've already logged in today once, and it took me right in. Let me see if I can log out. I'm going to sign out, and then I'll sign back in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click this link again. Okay, so it remembers me. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to put in my NCID password. And for folks who don't do this very often, that can be a tricky spot because NCID requires that you update your password every 90 days. And so that can be a problem if folks need to get in and they're having issues with that. So we strongly recommend that people go in and they log in every once in a while to eVP Hub Stats, even if they don't have anything to submit. So I have to do multi-factor authentication on my side, so I have to plug in that little 6-digit code that it just texted me. So when I log in, I might see something different than what you see. You're not going to see this Hub certification dashboard, but you may see, and I'm saying this to the agency perspective, you may see this menu over here on the side, and to submit Hub goods and services reports, you need to go down to Hub statistics. And again, the view that the Hub office staff can see will be different than what agency staff can see. So when I'm in here, agency staff would not have to navigate this way. But I have two reports that I have available for entering in. So I'm going to go and find those organizations. And one of them is a nonprofit. And I'm going to go in here, and what the agencies should see is just their information. So I'm going to type make sure I'm typing the right name. Yes. I'm going to start typing that, and it's going to give me two options here. I'm going to choose that one. So when agencies log in, you should see just your organization. If you click on that organization link, it'll show you information about your organization. That's not what we're trying to do today, so I'm going to try to avoid doing that. It'll show that those are listed as a supporting agency. Here's the fiscal year 2026. If there was any data entered in, you would be able to see that over here. So no data has been entered in. Nonprofits actually do not have the ability to enter directly into eVP Hub Stats, so Hub Office staff do that. But to get to the data entry field, we click on the quarter that we want to open. So first quarter is the only one available to us for 2026. And so it opens up this screen where it shows Economic Development Partnership in North Carolina. It shows that it's for 2026, first quarter, July 1 through September 30th. And it lists anytime you see a lock field on here, that means it's intentional. You cannot enter data in here. Don't try, don't worry about it. Don't panic if you can't enter data in here. These are all fields that are based on, for one thing, this is the date and the quarter that's being entered in. This approved by and approved on will fill in once we approve the actual report. This total of all purchases and total purchases hub, those are locked because those are formula fields. They will not, you cannot enter data in those fields. It depends on data that you enter down below. And all of these percentages, these are all formulas. They're all locked. You cannot change those. So it will fill in based on the information that is provided to us. So we were provided two spreadsheets recently. I'm going to try to find the emails. I had them pulled up just a moment ago. Okay. I'm going to open EPDNC's spreadsheet, and I'm going to put this side by side so we can see this a little better. Hopefully we can see this a little better. So the spreadsheet that we send out, not everybody uses it. We actually prefer that folks go into eVP and enter their data in eVP rather than emailing us the spreadsheet. It just is a possible opportunity for error on our part, and we would prefer that it be entered directly. But there are some organizations like the nonprofits, and this is one of them, that cannot do it on their own. So they will forward it to us and we will enter it in for them. So I'm going to go in here and look here, and I know that this is a nonprofit. They have no term contract values to enter in here. So for term contract, since we already have zeros over in the HubStats file, I'm going to just keep scrolling. And that you'll notice this term contract purchases hub is locked. That's a formula that counts up all of the values between Black and social and economically disadvantaged. And that will show up as 0 once we save this. And we can save it as we're going through if we're not able to do the entire data entry at one time. We can save it. And actually, I would probably recommend as you're going through each section, so term contract, you enter the data, hit save. Commodity purchases, you enter the data, hit save. And then services, enter the data, hit save. And then double check your values, say, does this make sense? And if it does, then you hit approve. But so since we did not have any values for term contract, I'm scrolling past that, and I'm going to go to the commodities purchases section. And looking at the spreadsheet over here, commodities purchases, hub and non-hub shows as 26,907. So I'm going to copy that from there, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to paste that in. If you'll notice, it just says 26,907. There's no period 00 afterwards. It's just the whole number. We don't want, the amount of cents that were spent, just the whole number. So you would round to the nearest whole number. So don't put it in your spreadsheet with cents. Just put it in as a whole number. And then so there's no spending in here for any of these hub categories. So I'm not going to bother entering any data here, but I am going to click save. And when we do that, you'll notice right here, the commodity hub purchases went from blank to $0, and then it calculated the hub percentage for commodity purchases as 0. And so now that that section is done, I'm going to scroll down to services on the hub stats side, as well as on the spreadsheet side. And services, purchases, hub and non-hub on the spreadsheet side showed as 2,751,999. So I'm going to click on there and just copy it and come over here to services, purchases, hub and non-hub, and paste that in. And again, there was no spending on the spreadsheet for any of the hub values. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. I'm going to go ahead and save this. It actually showed $0 there, but that's because we already saved it once, and we'll save it again. And now we're just going to scroll back through, look up here. We now have a total value up in that total of all purchases value, and we're going to compare, and it actually matches what's on the spreadsheet, and so does the total hub value right there. So I'm pretty sure that I got the numbers in right because I just copied and pasted them, but it doesn't hurt to go back and double check. So I'm doing that for commodities, 26907, and then I'll do that for services, 2751, 2751, 999, 999. So that looks like those values are all correct. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to hit approve. And when I do that, it shows that it's been approved by me, and it shows that it's been approved on 10/27/2025 at 10:15 a.m. So that will show when we come back to the main view, and you can see this. If you want to, you can print it out. It's not the easiest thing in the world to print it out. We do have instructions on that in our presentation that we do on a quarterly basis that we send out. So if you are interested in doing that, we can, I believe that is in there. And then when we come back to this field or this screen where it shows all the reports for EDP and C, it shows it's supporting, it shows the department, it shows the quarter, and shows the fiscal year, and that was all there before, but now it shows values in there, and it shows 00000, but commodities, it shows that 26,907 and 27,591, and if we go all the way over here, it shows our total for that quarter, and it shows that it's submitted, shows that it was approved, shows who approved it. So that's one example. I'm going to go through another. So I'm going to come back to Hub Stats and find my other spreadsheet that I was trying to do. And oh, there was New Hanover. I just saw it. Come back to that. There we go. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so I can close that spreadsheet, and I'm going to pull this one up here. This is New Hanover County Schools. So again, when they come to Hub Statistics, they won't have to find their organization. It'll only show New Hanover County Schools. So I'm going to go in here on my side and find New Hanover County Board of Education. Hit apply. There's only one quarter to look at. All these fields are blank over here. 2026 is the fiscal year. We do need to pay attention to that to make sure that we're looking at the right fiscal year and the right quarter. Since we're very new into the fiscal year, there's only going to be one quarter showing as available to report on. In 2026, it's only going to be quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four will only show up when it's time to actually report on those. Okay, so this is now, make sure, New Hanover County Board of Education 2026, first quarter, July 1 through September 30th. Yep, that's what we're looking for. It does show that nothing has been submitted yet. Again, under the total of all purchases, there are several fields here that are locked. We won't be able to add data there. Those will fill in as we add data. So New Hanover County Schools also had no reporting under term contracts. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down to commodities, but there's a little bit more to add here. So over here in commodities, we've got this over $6 million value. We're going to copy that from the commodity purchases hub and non-hub field on the spreadsheet and paste it to the same field in eVP in hub stats. And then I'm going to come back to the spreadsheet and look for where we had values for hub spend. And we had $620,000 in female hub spend showing there. So I'll come back here, highlight that field for female, paste that, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. And you'll notice before I do that, you'll notice commodity purchases is blank right there. And also down here in services, it's blank. But when I click save, it enters the 0 here under services purchases because we haven't entered anything in there yet. And then it adds in 620, 351 for commodity purchases hub because that's the value that was listed here. And that is the total of all the hub values. If there was multiple spending here, it would just add up all the dollar values that were from Black through socially and economically disadvantaged. So we got the commodities in there. Now we're going to come back to service purchases. And I'm intentionally going to make an error here. And I want to show people how to deal with it. But this one is a little bit more complicated because it's got spend for each of these categories. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these over. And I'm going to make a mistake here, and I'm doing it intentionally. And that's American Indian. No, that's Asian American. It would have been fine if I made that error. I could come back and edit it. But I'm going to make an intentional error. That was going to be an unintentional one. Okay. So if I put this in here and I put in just the hub values there, and I went ahead and saved it, it should give me an error because I have not entered in any hub and non-hub values. And this can be a real problem. If I try to approve it, it's not going to let me. But I'm going to go ahead and try it. Well, it shouldn't let me. If it does, we'll deal with it. But so I'm going to say, okay, I think I got that right. I didn't, but I'm going to say that. There's a little bit of rounding going on here, I think. Yeah, because in this spreadsheet, as we mentioned previously, we do not want to put cents in there. We just want whole numbers. So, but what was entered included cents as well as dollars. So that's why when you look here, it says 485, 695, but over here, 485, 694, because I copied and pasted based on the values, and this doesn't include the cents in here. So please, when you're entering your spreadsheet, do not include that. Round it up to 15393,937, since it's 2 cents away from 93. Oh, that rounded up to 936. So that should not read 95.98. That should just read 6 with no point and no cents after that. So let's move on here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to approve this with this intentionally error-prone answer here. And you'll notice it just popped up this little red text and says service purchases hub and non-hub cannot be less than the total services purchases hub. which means it's thinking that we entered in this value and it's showing more hub dollars than total spend. So that's not possible. We should come back here, copy the amount of spend that we had, and paste it there. And now that goes away. If we had some value in there and we needed to change it, there's another way of dealing with it, but that gets a little bit more complicated, and I don't think we need to go into that right now. So just wanted to let you see that error when you tried to put it in and there was no value there. So it needs to be showing that, hey, there's a value here, and it is higher than the value for the hub dollars. So I'm going to go back through and just double check the values compared to the spreadsheet to make sure that I've got things in here correctly. So it is showing 21,991,397. Uh-oh, but it's showing 659,401 here and 1,106,465 right here. So we've got a little bit of problem with the total of the purchases. And let's go through and take a look at what we have. So we have no term contract spend. Our problem is not with the term contract spend. Here is 6597401, which is that value right here. So right now it's only showing the commodity purchase value. And it looks like if I scroll down, let's make sure I've got the hub value for commodities right. Looks like I do. Now we'll scroll down to services, and that says 15,393,936. And it looks like the hub values are correct, but this value is not being added to this value up here. So I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to click save and see if it recalculates that. It looks like it just did. So now it's showing 21,991,337, which matches our spreadsheet. So sometimes that save button is a good thing to do after you've made a change. So it will force the formulas to recognize the change. So looks like we've got the changes made that we need, and that percentage matches this percentage. So I'm going to go ahead and click approve and hopefully not get an error this time. And it looks like it approved it based on what I just did, because it had already listed me as the approver and today's date, but it now updated the time to 10:27 a.m. So that is an approved report. So let's come back here. I can close this spreadsheet. And when we look on the values here, we can scroll over. We can see there's commodity value here, and that is the hub and non-hub value. And then we can also see the female value that was entered and the commodity hub purchases that were entered there. And then we can also see the service purchases, hub and non-hub, and the different hub category spending that was entered. And then we can see the total of all purchases, the total hub purchases, and that hub calculation for the percentage. It's been submitted on this date by this person. So that is how you go ahead and enter data in eVP for goods and services. And thank you for watching. We appreciate it, and I hope this is helpful.